Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first official
Buenas
meeting
tardes, bienvenido a la primera reunión oficial
of the Revere Human Rights Commission.
Wait, oh, sorry, yeah. Hang on. Okay, good.
Okay. Again, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first official Human Rights Commission meeting for the city of Revere. Today's November 5th, 2020, and the time is 2:04 in the afternoon. We'll call the meeting to order at this time. We'll do a roll call if the commission is present. Starting off, Chief Callahan. Present.
Present.
Dr. Garcia. Present. Karuk Pitch. Present. Lynn Alexis. Lynn will not be with us. She notified me before the meeting. She had something came up and she's unable to attend. Reverend Bogerman.
Present.
Rashid Mohabir.
Present.
Present. Janine Grillomara
Present.
is present. Shay Mansour Hosani.
Present.
Jalon Fowler.
Present.
And Chief Bright present. Did everybody have a chance to look over the minutes from our October 1st meeting? Anybody have any comments or corrections on that? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from the October meeting?
Yeah, I motion.
Motion made by Kathy Ann Reinstein. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Reverend Bogerman, thank you. All those in favor, signify you can raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you. The first topic for discussion we have today is a mission statement. This is wide open. I'm gonna open it up to the floor. I can go right down the line to all the commissioners who would like to speak on the mission statement. And I can start right with whoever would like to raise their hand and proceed. Does anyone have any comments about a mission statement? Yes, Janine.
I did a little bit of research online, and I did come across one mission statement that I found resonated what I would like to see in our mission statement, or at least have some of those elements. I did not edit it or anything until I got more feedback from the group, but I could screen share it, or I could send it out after the meeting. Or wait until I speak.
Okay. At this point, I mean, again, I'm open to the will of the body on that. I mean, excuse me?
I've given her the power to screen share.
Okay. I think Ruben just set up to allow you to screen, to share that with the group. Thank you.
So this is from the Ontario Human Rights Code, and they have a vision and a mission. Can everyone see this, or do I need to make it larger?
Can see it.
You can see it. That's good.
Mr. Pro.
It's very good.
Would you like me to stop sharing?
No, it's good. I mean, I think we should leave the document there and probably go section by section and comment on it, if that.
Sure.
This is like kind of a good start, is kind of broad. We want to probably customize something to what we have in the city. And also this group probably is not like to enforce, from my understanding, is probably is to mediate. We don't want to put ourselves in the policeman of the city. We are not, probably we don't have that authority in the city. It's like more, the way I see it is more than promoting diversity and inclusion, and ensure that all people in the city are treated with dignity, fairness, respect, and equality. And we want to also have something that it's gonna differentiate us from other, because each city is different, each place is different. That's from my perspective. And we want to stay away from using the word residents, because it may eliminate certain people that are visiting the city, or maybe some people that are doing business in our city, but they are not residents. We don't want to eliminate them. So we want to make sure that everyone in the city is treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashid. All good points. Would anybody else like to comment?
Hi, it's still on here. I did have a comment. I too like it. The thing that I'm struggling with a bit is what makes sense. There's pros and cons for calling out a few areas that are clearly sensitive in our city right up front. That might be a benefit, so people can be flagged if these things come up. This is the place to reach out. But then again, we don't want to limit and be limiting to certain things. So I guess just trying to understand maybe where everyone's appetite is with that, and it might help the conversation a bit.
Thank you, Jalon. All good comments. Would anybody else like to speak on the mission statement?
Stop the sharing.
This is Karu. I agree with everyone. I think we should dive into section by section what it means for the mission and what we need to add to customize for our community specifically.
Okay, points well taken. Thank you, Carol. Kathy Ann?
Thanks, Chief. I agree with, making sure that it's, a little catered to our community. And I also liked Rashid's comment about not just it being residents, to being people who visit and do business here. I think that's important. Janine, thank you for the research that you did and you shared. I was looking at different cities. There's a website and an organization called the Massachusetts Human Rights Coalition. And it's an organization of municipal and local agencies that are responsible for promoting human and civil rights. So, I haven't done as much work as I'd like to do. Quite frankly, work has been busy here, but they actually have links to different communities there. And, I don't know, I'm unclear on the public meeting law, if I was able to email that to everyone. So I didn't. So I don't know if this is something we're totally deciding today, or if we should, use what Janine did as a working document and then draft from there. I don't know how, I'm just unclear on, making sure that we don't obviously violate any open meeting laws. So I don't know if anyone can provide me information. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
May I make a suggestion here? I think we should maybe create a Google Doc, put this document there, let people comment and make any adjustments to it. And then once that's done, we can come back and see some areas that we can compromise, some areas that we believe should not be there. And then in the end, it will become a little bit, it becomes a document that, you know, we all have, you know, built consensus on. So I think that's the best approach rather than debating it right now. And I think we should create a Google Doc, put this document there and basically edit and then come back to it and come up with a solid document.
I think that's a great idea. I know that things have been lapsed because of COVID, of how people can meet. I just want to make sure that we're not upsetting any legal apple cart. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like, we just have to be, I agree. I think that's the best way to do it. I just hope we can.
I agree with Dr. Garcia that the mission, we should take our time in designing our mission. The reason that's what's gonna define our group, and that's gonna be, we gotta work under that mission. And in my humble opinion, we should start probably with the goals that we wanna accomplish. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So in my humble opinion, I did this exercise before and it worked well there for us in a nonprofit organization. By the way, I'm from Marseille, Moroccan American Connections in Revere. That started probably 4 years ago. And what we did, we took suggestions of what people want to do. And then we drafted a document with all the suggestions. Then we all agreed on common goals. Because I don't agree about enforcing. I don't see myself having an authority to enforce anything in the city unless it's given to us by the mayor or by the law enforcement. The other thing, we could just draft.
Rashid, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry. I apologize. Could you just speak a little louder for the interpreter?
Absolutely. Can you hear me now? No? Can you, what about all of you? Can you hear me? So let me connect to, you wanted me to leave the meeting and connect to another network? That may help a little bit.
You're audible.
No, please continue.
Sound
We
good.
can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so what I said, in my humble opinion, we should start with the goals that this commission wants to accomplish. And we can combine these goals. We can agree on the most common ones and combine them and draft a mission or derivate a mission from our goals. So the goals that we agreed, do you want to promote diversity? Yes or no? And then we can have like a matrix or how many people they agree on promoting diversity. Do we want to promote inclusion? Do we want to make sure that everyone is treated with respect and we could probably start with documents that Janine starts with, and we could put these bullets and see how many people they will agree with those bullets. Then we can derive our mission from there.
Mr. Karu, Rashid, I greatly appreciate that. I'm also wondering if we can come up with a draft, a working document, a draft, and we can also share that with the community to get feedback, to get information, what they would love to add in our mission.
I agree with you. I agree. Then one last thing, I promise this is gonna be the last thing that I would like to mention. When I did my research, I've seen like a lot of human rights commissions. They work like for 2 or 3 years, then they become inactive. And for me, that's the most important thing, to know why they become inactive. Because we can put in our plate so many things, and then we can get overwhelmed and we can't do any of them. But if we see why these people, why these commissions before us became inactive, then it's gonna help us design something that we could probably handle.
Thank you, Rashid. Any other commissioners?
May I speak?
Yes.
Just to reiterate, that was not edited at all. It was pure, it was not meant to completely or accurately represent our city and the needs of this community. I would like to circle back to Kathy's comment. I didn't share that with the group in advance because I wasn't sure if I could or should. So I think it would be helpful to have more clarification, even with the Google Doc, which is a great idea. Do I submit that to someone else who then puts it on Google Drive? So it would be helpful to have a little bit of direction around the logistics.
As long you cite where you got the document, the source, where you got it, you are not you're not infringing the copyright or anything like that. So, you can you can share any document as long as you recognize or cite the source where the document came from. So that obviously, yeah, we need to do. But other than that, you can share it. I think one of the comments I heard here is that, we have to come up looking at the document, or even we can have a small discussion among ourselves on which elements we want to see really in this, in this document. What, now in an era that we're talking, there's a lot of conversation about systemic racism, talking about inclusion, diversity, equity, and things like that. Those are big themes that probably should make part of this document. I see elements like human dignity. I see a lot of things that are equality and things like that. The word equality, there's a big difference between being equal and being equitable. Those are two different concepts. And nowadays, people are talking about equity, equitable things here and there. So I think that Google Doc will enable us to come up with these themes, take the document apart, tailor it to our needs. And then obviously, when you plan to share something with the community, parents, families, members of the community, they always want us to share what we have first and let them comment. If we're gonna ask them to come up with a document, it's gonna be a long process because we will never reach consensus. So you may wanna present a document in progress and seek feedback from them, and then you'll get a good document.
Thank you.
I think referring back to when Amir Rashid said like the wording, like instead of using residents, use like other vocabulary to be a lot more inclusive. I feel like the document should be written in more of a familial terminology, or like setting. What I mean by that is like speaking about being a family. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I personally feel like the reason why we've all come together in order to provide a better future for Revere is because it doesn't seem like we're acting like a family. You know what I mean? And that's our goal. We want to be autonomous with one another. We we would like to be in a very good community where we're all in good spirits with one another. So I feel like when it comes to a mission statement, we should talk about being a family. Be like taking care of one another, like using those subject verbs. I feel like will be a lot helpful when it comes to writing this mission statement, because for me, as someone who lives in Shirley Ave, I feel like I am a part of a family. So I feel like including that in our mission statement, I feel like it's going to be amazing. As someone who is a part of Revere Youth in Action, we always talk about being part of one family. Like the other youth organizations are like my own brothers and sisters. So I feel like that's something that we should include in our in the mission statement.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Shay.
Well,
Commissioners, we have City Clerk Ashley Melnick with us. And Ashley, we've been just in discussions because it's really not clear to the group, about how we can go about this mission statement and share information and not violate, any public laws.
Sure. Thank you, Chief. For those who don't know me, my name is Ashley Melnick. I'm the city clerk, and just as the city council does with their packets, I would recommend that you do like a packet or something, maybe for each meeting, and then you send that to each member of the commission to review, just like the city council does. As long as you're not, sharing and deliberating back and forth via email, you shouldn't be doing that. You guys can kind of do like your own thing by, working maybe on the mission statement and then sharing those ideas collaboratively at the next Human Rights Commission meeting. But you can do like a packet for the meeting. Is that what you guys are asking, or?
I think the initial discussion, Ashley, was about creating like a Google document, and then everyone can kind of, contribute to it and edit it back and forth. Would that be something that would be appropriate?
No, because that would be a deliberation if everyone is working on the document separately outside of the public eye. It would have to be individually.
Okay.
Or not a quorum. Maybe have a subcommittee. Maybe don't have a quorum of the body working on the document.
And what would be a good number for a subcommittee for this group?
That's certainly up to you guys. I would say it's an 11-member group, correct? So a quorum is 6. So anything less than that.
Less
So
than
you're
6.
saying up to 5. I'm sorry, Ashley, this is Kathy Reinstein. Thank you for.
Hey, Kathy.
So anything, that's not a quorum, so 5 or less.
Yeah.
And you're saying, those 5 or less people could have however they want to do it, communicate, email, Zoom, in person, and then provide a draft that then we could discuss as the meeting of the whole.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want anything you don't want to have, the law states a public body having deliberations outside of the public eye. That would be a violation of the open meeting law. So and it would have to be, if you read the law, I know I don't, I'm on camera right now, but if there's really no teeth to it. There would have to be malicious intent when deliberating outside of the public eye in order for it to be, a true violation. But you guys can work on the document outside of your meetings, but not as a whole.
So if everyone worked on a document outside of the meeting and then submitted it.
Yeah, and then you bring your ideas, like the city council, for example. Individual council. Let's say there's an ordinance that the council's working on. Individual city councilors will bring their idea to the meeting and then discuss that amendment at the public meeting.
So,
Okay.
Can I ask one more question, if that's okay? I'm sorry, I always ask a lot of
Sure.
questions. Say a subcommittee was created, right? All of us as individuals, could we submit our ideas to the subcommittee so that they could then, put something together, like Rashid was talking about, goals and then coming up with common goals. So we could submit those to the subcommittee and then discuss it as a committee of a whole. It could be in the packet that would be emailed out. So something like that.
Right. Yeah, just as long as you guys aren't exchanging, deliberating back and forth via email. You can't do that.
Right. And we can't do
Okay,
it.
but the subcommittee can work on an issue together.
Yep, and then you present what the subcommittee deliberated at the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Thanks, Ashley, for your guidance. This is really, really helpful. I think what we should be doing, probably each person should be reaching individually to the people that they will be representing, or their friends, family, neighbors, and see what they want to see, what they want to see in this commission. Then everyone should be bringing feedback from their communities. Probably that will be a good start, and we can discuss it in a public meeting in our next meeting.
That's exactly how you guys should be doing it, Rashid, just the way you explained it. Bring all of the ideas and then discuss it in a public forum, not via email outside of the public eye or outside of the posted public meeting time.
Would it be appropriate, I'm sorry to interrupt, would it be appropriate, Ashley, to post something on Facebook to seek feedback from community members?
But that becomes a public record, any of those records that are now being presented to, on social media. It's very difficult to track that. I would recommend using a city-issued email address, say humanrightscommission@revere.org, have constituents, residents email, like an email address such as that.
Actually, I have a clarification question. So
Sure.
for the subcommittee, are we selected or volunteered?
That would be up to the committee to decide. Whoever the chairman's going to be, just as the city council president, when that person is elected to serve for that year, the president chooses the committees and the committee members.
Thank you. And then I think for sharing with the committee, I think it would be best if we do a survey with the community. Send out a survey monkey so people can fill it out and send it back to us with information so that we can gather.
Sure, I would recommend though using again a revere.org address, so everything's going to a revere.org address and not personal email addresses or social media.
So
Janine, could I have you send that mission statement to me so we can include it in the minutes for next month?
Would you prefer it in a Word document or a PDF?
Word document. Yeah, Word document, please.
I would think Word, because then you can edit it, right? Easier.
And so just
Thank
so that I'm clear, it sounds like we need to decide whether we choose to do this individually and come back to the next individually and getting feedback from our little circles and come back to the next meeting, or if we are creating a subcommittee for this mission statement. Is that correct? We haven't decided that.
There has not been a motion, no.
So I mean, so do you need someone to make a motion? I mean, is there?
I was trying to get all the discussion out. Are there any more comments? Is everyone clear on that with the city clerk before we can thank her and send her back? I'm sure she's very busy.
I don't have a comment for the clerk, thank you, but I did have a comment regarding before we vote on the subcommittee. I just almost think that just for everyone to think about, this probably is our biggest thing we need to accomplish right now. So I guess just off the top, it makes me a little hesitant to think we would break off into subcommittees, but I'm open if I'm misinterpreting that. I feel like everyone should be involved in that, and I can't imagine what else we would be taking up while some people work on that. So just, that's my comments.
Mr. Chair, I agree. I'm sorry, I agree with you. But the way I'm interpreting subcommittee, and correct me if I'm wrong, so Ashley, sorry, before you get off, so I believe all of us as individuals could give input to the subcommittee. And then the people on the subcommittee would be kind of the point people in drafting a draft, and then would be brought back to us as a whole to discuss. So we will, my understanding of that means we have input in the draft, and then we will have input in the discussion, but it would be just for the purposes of having a couple of people just hold that main responsibility instead of just having this one debate. You know what I mean? So we have, maybe the drafts can go quicker that way. I mean, am I interpreting that correctly?
Kathy, you kind of hit the nail on the head the way you just described it. Unless you guys are going to continuously have, Human Rights Commission meetings where you are, deliberating all together about the language on a public open forum.
And
that would be another option.
And we can do that though when we meet like this to go over the drafts, and again, like Rashid's idea of going through coming to common goals. So they could work on, all right, here's the first draft that we came out with that was in your packet. Here's all the goals that were suggested, and we're going to go over what we can find common ground on in the next meeting. So that, because we're really only meeting once a month, so it could be difficult to try to, you know what I mean? And I agree, it is the most, it sets the tone for everything we're gonna do going forward. So maybe to have a few people concentrate on it and then we can all have input. Curious what
That
everyone-
makes a lot of sense to the chair. I mean, the flow of information, if we do create a subcommittee with 5 members who may be interested, if we could do that today, everybody could send off their thoughts on the mission statement to the subcommittee to work on, and then present something for our packets for next month's meeting. That might be a good flow for the mission statement. And keep in mind, I mean, the mission statement does not have to be like, have everything in it, right? I mean, a mission statement, the way I understand it, should only be maybe a paragraph, right? And it's got to be right to the point. You know, it's not like War and Peace. You don't have to have everything in the mission statement.
Right, it needs to be more open-ended so it can encompass a lot of things, right? So, is it Jalen or Jalon? I'm always saying your name wrong and I apologize.
That's fine. It's Jalon. I see how you broke down. That makes sense to me. It does.
Okay.
I get it. I think that makes sense. I want to be effective too. I think a lot of it is let's be effective, right? And not have everyone kind of, you know, muddling over something. So that sounds like a good path.
So, Mr. Chair, do you need a motion then, right? So you need a motion to create.
I would definitely entertain a motion.
So I'll make the motion then to create a mission statement subcommittee. And then I guess, I don't know, as the chair, I guess you would appoint, but maybe if people have an interest to raise their hands, I don't know. I'm not going to get in your way, Mr. Chairman, sorry.
No, again, well, we are open, and even with the city ordinance, I mean, it is up to us as commissioners. I'm not trying to, rule the chair is my will. But there's a motion on the floor from Kathy Ann Reinstein to create a mission statement subcommittee. I guess we'll be looking for approximately 5 members. An easy way to do that would be, who would be interested? I mean, if we had 5 people who were interested, that would make it easy. If it's more than that, then we may have to, take it, come up with something else. But is there interest out there? Would anyone like to be on the mission statement subcommittee? Do we have 5 members who can spare the time to do that?
I believe all of us should be included in that mission, because that's what's gonna dictate what we're gonna be doing in the future. When we cannot eliminate anyone, or I understand it's gonna be very hard, but trust me, if we do it right, because those gotta be our ideas and the ideas of the people that we represent. So if we...
A point of clarification, Rashid, everyone is included on the Human Rights Commission, and everyone would be able to weigh into the subcommittee, and the subcommittee would present it to the chair, and we put it in the packet for next meeting and discuss it with the full group. Everyone would have their input to the subcommittee. No one is excluded just because we created a subcommittee. That doesn't mean if you're not on the subcommittee, you don't get to, raise your issues on a mission statement or weigh in on a mission statement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Just one more thing that I would like to see while Ashley is here with us, because I'm really interested to see why the last commission became inactive and why it didn't work. Because we don't want to recreate the wheel. We could learn from our mistakes and see what's been done that didn't make it work. Is there any records from the last commission or anything that maybe we could start from the mission that's been created years ago, and we could see what did work and what didn't work, and we could find it, because I trust that the people that before us did some work, and we've got to build up on that experience. We don't want to recreate the wheel. And thank you.
Hi, Rashid. Unfortunately, I do not hold the records to the previous Human Rights Commission. The only records I do have are just the appointment records made by the City Council when the appointees were confirmed.
Thank you, Ashley. While I was doing some research, it's the same problem happening in Boston and some other. We want to know why those commissions, they become inactive. Like, you know, they bring all good ideas, they work for a year or two, then they stop them. Why? That's.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure, Rashid, we could go back and get all the answers of what happened, you know, years ago, if there's no record of it. But, you know, certainly we got a good group here to kind of, I think we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we can do some work and put it towards a subcommittee and, you know, also invite community involvement, you know, to weigh in on what we come up with. So again, I don't know if we really want to go back and relitigate everything that happened in the past with the former Human Rights Commission or spend too much time on that anyhow. I don't know if there doesn't seem to be a record that we could go back to.
So Mr. Chair, should we go back to the motion that's on the floor? So like, how do we?
The motion on the floor to create a subcommittee, it'd have to be less than 6 members. Is a second on the motion?
Second.
Seconded. Is there any discussion to the motion? Seeing here none. All those in favor of creating the subcommittee on the mission statement signify by raising your hand. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. As far as interest in subcommittee members.
I think Ashley's good to go, right?
Oh, Ashley, thank you for participating. I think you answered all our questions.
Okay, if you guys ever have any questions in the future, just let me know. Okay. Bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, any interest from commissioners? Do people want to reach out via email to me? You can do that too. Okay, anyone interested then in being on the mission statement subcommittee, please submit an email to the pro temp chair, which is myself, and we'll get that started.
Chief,
That concludes our discussion. Yes, Chief Callahan.
are we going to develop are we going to have an email set up for the Human Rights Commission?
Chief Callahan, this is Ruben. Are you asking for all members, a single email address that goes to all members, or a special email address for submissions?
I mean, what would everybody think? Just the one email address for everybody, or does everybody want a, you know, separate email address? What do you recommend, Ruben, or anybody else, if you have an idea?
I send out, we have a HRC set up, so when I send out for the agenda in the minute, that we have set up. I'm not,
I think we should. I think we should have. Oh, sorry, Chris. I think we should have like just one email. It's easier to track that way. Yeah, because people be getting bombarded with emails like all over, so it's easy to lose track when everyone has their own individual email. So I think one email is a lot more effective.
So you're saying like when, so like I think Ashley Melnick mentioned like HRC at cityrevere.org. So that would be like for the public to weigh in, and then I don't know, somehow we'd get it, I guess. Is that what you mean, Chief Callahan? Kind of something like that? I mean, not for us emails, but for the commission in case people want to reach us, the public wants to reach us.
Can you put it up? Can we put that on the screen?
I would say maybe just leave it like that then, just the way we're doing it. And then maybe if you needed one email for the commission itself to get in general, if somebody wanted to put feedback.
What about if, is there a web page for the commissioner for this group?
We don't have a webpage.
There is a webpage.
Yeah.
Do we have
So
one?
first
or
of
no?
all, there is.
Yes, hold
Sorry,
on.
I apologize. There is a Human Rights Commission at revere.org. That is an email address that goes to everyone on this list. So that's the first thing.
So maybe on that web page, maybe, I don't know, maybe we, each member would have a picture with a information down there, email, address, if people have a concern or anything like that. That way you would allow people to weigh in, send emails and stuff like that. So I don't know if I've seen web page set up that way, or you don't have to have pictures. You just have your email address there, and allow people to email you.
So I think Ruben's showing us all the webpage now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that something that would be something everyone could like, kind of write in on a common place and, I'm not
So-
sure.
Not everyone can
Ruben,
edit, but I can add that email.
I'm sorry, Ruben, are you saying if someone emails Human Rights Commission at revere.org, we'll all just get it because you have something set up internally?
That's correct.
All right, so then I guess that's good, right? I mean, do we need anything else other than that?
It seems that email just needs to be added to this web page.
Correct. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doable?
I can do that.
Yep, Ruben can do that for us.
Great.
Chief Ant will take care of that. Great. Okay. Next topic of discussion, regular schedule for meetings. Put it out there to the commissioners. I know everyone has very demanding schedules, and I don't know if there is really one time that works for everybody, but it would be good to kind of nail down and commit to a particular date and time, if that's possible. Any
And like-
thoughts?
And Chief, you're saying too, I think you'd have it be consistent, so it would be like the second Tuesday of every month or.
And keeping in mind, next month, of course, you have Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, so on and so forth. We'd probably want to meet the first week if we do meet, or maybe we would want to meet too much beyond into that second week, I don't believe, with the holiday season coming upon us. So, any thoughts from the commissioners?
Would this meeting be all the time via Zoom, or once things go back to normal, we gotta have to be in person? It's gonna be an in-person meeting.
It's up to the commissioners, but I would imagine, once we come out of the pandemic and things open up again and there's a vaccine available, in the next year, two, whenever that time's gonna be, we won't always be meeting on Zoom, I would guess at some time or another. We might actually be meeting, I would hope we'd be meeting in person.
Yeah.
I would hope this is how we're gonna continue the rest of our careers.
I highly appreciate if we can either push it toward the beginning of the week or toward the end, because sometimes I travel in my current job. I could delay a trip one day maybe. So if it's a Monday or maybe Thursday, gotta work better for me. So I could go travel and come back, for the meeting. But if it's gonna be in the middle of the week, it's gonna be very hard.
Can we
So
all agree then Thursday? Thursday might be a good day for a meeting?
I think so. And I think too, Chief, you were saying it needs to be at the beginning of the week. So, I mean, it's the first Thursday of the month now. So that would be December 3rd if we stuck with the first Thursday of the month.
Right.
So that could be consistent, right? Barring any holidays or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Would it be possible that even when we are able to meet in person, that there's the opportunity for a hybrid meeting? If someone was traveling, but they could Zoom in,
Yeah.
that would allow people to not have to miss. Would that be possible down the road?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Yes.
I think that's
That's
a
a
good
good
idea.
idea.
Since,
That's a great point.
yeah, I think that's a good idea since a lot of colleges are doing that, and it works regardless of a pandemic. So I think it's a good idea.
I do too, and I think so too, because, you know, travel time, you might not be able to get there, so this way you won't miss your meeting.
Yeah.
So like Rashid, like you said, if you're traveling or if someone needs to be somewhere, you know, childcare, whatever, or, you know, they have back-to-back meetings and they have 1 hour in between their meetings at work, they can get
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
So maybe Thursday, and if we can push it maybe around 5 or after 5, that kind of work a lot better. I'm asking too much, but I hope that everyone will understand the situation. I'm right now connecting from the office here, and I have like 4 students that I'm training them on IT in parallel with this. I will highly appreciate if we can do it like after 5.
Thank you, Rashid. Any other comments
I'm
about a regular
also,
meeting?
I'm also just curious, Chief, and then everyone. I mean, to promote equity within the meeting. Curious if people open to have a meeting in a circle form, so that people have the opportunity to speak when there's turn. I can explain more about the circle process that we are using. I'm sure Kathy is familiar with that at ROCA. It's the indigenous practices of, it's a form of governance and promoting equity within the group, so that everybody has the opportunity to share their idea, that they don't have to, like, you know, jump in all the time or step back. So just share an idea.
I love that
Thank you,
idea.
Carol. Thank you. Anybody else like to be heard? So then it sounds like we have a consensus for Thursday meetings. Can we get any agreements on a time?
Chief, I'm good for any time. I can be very flexible. I mean, long as there's no significant things going on, I can make it flexible. If we had to do it at 6 o'clock at night, I'm good. So however you want to plug it in.
Thank you.
6 o'clock is a great time, actually.
So I'm fine with that. I
Yeah.
just know what everyone's schedule is. Are there some people that start super early? So does that make like a crazy long day for people? I mean, I'm fine with it, but I'm curious if it's really a problem for somebody. Want to be sensitive to that. I mean, sorry, I'm looking at both of you chiefs because I feel like you both start very, very early, and I'm assuming that Dr. Garcia does too. So, you know, I just want to kind of be a little sensitive to that.
I could go with 5 o'clock, 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Garcia. Anybody else want to weigh in on that? I mean, perhaps we could send out one more for the date and that we have a Thursday, but maybe for a time to the group again, another doodle pool, and then take it from there?
Do you want me to do?
I mean, because we don't, you know, I don't really.
Or do you want to, is there any opposition to 5 o'clock?
Anyone have any opposition to 5 o'clock?
No.
5 o'clock? Okay,
So this is.
so 5 o'clock it is then.
So this is set. So are we going to do, I know this is for next week, but are we, next month, but are we going to do every first Thursday at 5 for the most part, barring a holiday?
Yeah, until further notice. That's
Wonderful.
not, I mean, is there a motion to that effect? First of all, I can't, you know, it's got to come from the floor. If someone want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to that, the first Thursday of every month, 5 o'clolock.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there a second on the motion? Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor?
If
Raise
it's
your hand.
just one more thing to add. If it's a holiday, what shall we do? If it's a holiday,
We'll probably have to reschedule it.
maybe the following week.
Probably to the next week.
Yeah, the
The following Thursday.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay?
I know that Lynn is not with us today. I'm not sure if she's available at 5. You will reach out to her, right?
Oh, she will get notified, yes, absolutely. Any other discussion? There's a motion on the floor.
I think it will be I think 5 o'clock is great because we will have to think about other people as well, not just about the commission. We have to think about what's going to work for most of the people. We will be working with people in the city of Revere, and it will be nice to have that meeting outside normal working hours. So you got to have opportunity for other people to show up in those meetings and be productive. So.
Okay?
Agree.
Okay, we'll call the motion to a vote. All those in favor of a Thursday, 5 o'clock, first Thursday of the month, 5 o'clock, HRC meetings, raise their hand. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Now, would anyone like to just have any thoughts on for the next meeting, for next month, in addition to the mission statement? Is there anything else on anyone would like to bring to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman. Sorry, I'm
Yes, Kathy.
talking a lot, and anyone can just tell me, shoot me down. I want to just say I appreciate that you've taken the reins as the pro tem, but I also know how really busy you are, especially since COVID is experiencing an uptick. So we probably should start discussing the nomination of chairs and officers next week. I mean, I don't know if there'll be time. I feel like the mission statement could take it all up, but I think that we don't have to come to a decision on the mission statement either, right? Next week, because I don't next month, but I don't know. So that's maybe something, because I see it on the topics for discussion for this one. So maybe I'm jumping ahead and I apologize, but maybe that's something we can start to discuss.
Oh, we could take that up. I mean, the mission statement, again, there's no reason it's a very important start for this group, so we really want to make it as great as we can. Okay, so that'll give us a lot to do between now and next meeting and for discussion for the group. We certainly can take up nomination of a chair officer. It's again, according to the ordinance, it's really up to the commission. I mean, we could nominate someone, whoever's interested in being nominated for chair officer, and perhaps even a secretary for the group, if anyone would be interested in that role. But certainly, to elect a chair officer, it is a topic for discussion. So, is there any interest or any motion coming from the floor in that regard?
Do you mind if you could list the types of chair officers, like other than like secretary and like head chair? Like, are there any other positions that the committee members can be nominated for?
If I remember correctly, I thought the ordinance stated chair officer and secretary treasurer. You know, like combined secretary / treasurer. I mean, we really don't have a budget to manage right now. Maybe we will someday, but not right now. So I would say, I believe those are the two listed. I mean, I'm not sure how, if this group wants to nominate a vice chair or a secretary and a treasurer. I mean, it's pretty wide, I think, pretty wide open, but I think expressly stated, I thought it's stated chair officer and, I think Ruben's pulling up right now for us. Thank you, Ruben.
So the commission may elect additional officers as deems necessary.
Yeah. So again, it's up to the commissioners. So we definitely need a chair officer. And I would say we definitely need a secretary. And if the chair, if it's the will of the chair to create more positions there, we can do that too. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you
Jay?
very much.
Good.
Volunteers.
Okay, no volunteers?
The reason why I was asking is because I'm interested in being like vice chair, but since there's no such position, that's why I wanted to ask with you first.
Yeah, again, there could be, we could create a vice chair. It's not, I mean, it's not excluded from the ordinance. It's not prohibited. It's not expressly stated, but I think it does state the Human Rights Commission can elect, you know, the chair positions that they feel are warranted for the group. So.
All right, so another technical question. Is it someone else nominates you, or are you just looking to see if anyone's even interested? Correct? You're just looking to see if anyone's interested?
Well, it'd be nice to know if anyone would be interested in taking on the duty, and then I'm sure there would be, there'd be a nomination forthcoming.
I'm also curious, since we're talking about selecting the chair, I'm wondering if we can also create term and conditions, like how many years you will be the chair, and then we can have the chair-elect. That chair-elect will step in.
I believe that is all spelled out in the ordinance, Karul.
It's a year.
I think the elections are for 1 year.
That will be great.
What's that? Am I wrong?
May not hold the office for more than 3 consecutive terms.
But 1 year at a time,
Oh, okay.
right? So it's 1 year at a time, no more than 3 consecutive years in a row.
We go. Sounds good.
I'm also wondering if we want to have, well, we don't want to be picky because someone volunteering is a wonderful thing and really appreciative of that, but also the opportunity to really have folks maybe say, you know, why or what, you know, what qualifications, because it'll be an important position. And again, not to be picky of anyone, but just, you know, if someone seems, just to give us options and an understanding.
Okay, sure. I mean, first, I mean, if there was some interest, we could always put it on for the next meeting for someone to make their presentation, and then we can take a vote at that meeting, whoever's nominated. If there's more than one person interested, we might just have one person who's interested, and then they could present at the next meeting, but, you know.
Could there be co-chairs if it seemed that that might be a possibility?
Co-chairs. I suppose it could be tri-chairs or quadruple chairs. I don't know why you might want to have a co-chair, but yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Well,
I like that a lot.
I think what would be helpful for me would be to know what are the skills that we are looking for this person? What are the duties? I'm sorry if I'm being naive or ignorant in terms of this might be sort of common knowledge for some of you, but for me, the kinds of meetings and committees I've been involved in are a little bit different than this. So I would be curious to know what the expectation, the duties, the tasks, the skills, to even have a sense of how to decide whether or not or maybe it might help somebody else whether or not they'd be interested. Or maybe everybody else is already.
If this answers your question, there's really no job description for it like there would be for, a position, other positions in the city. I mean, this is, it's pretty much what the will of the body wants to do. As far as, if you read through the ordinance, which isn't that long, it kind of gives you a pretty good idea of, stuff that you'd have to be dealing with on the Human Rights Commission. I mean, from my experience, it's just, again, setting up the meeting, making sure the minute gets posted, everything gets posted properly between Ruben and Ashley, and making sure we're being all inclusive with everyone has an opportunity to be heard, and that we're trying to do things as inclusive and fair as we can. So, I think it's just pretty rudimentary, pretty, basic skills. There's no, when we need, when we need, IT skills or whatever, we have Ruben over here, thank goodness. But, as far as, being, chairman of the commission, I would just think, you just have to have the will to put the time in and some energy and, sweat equity and be fair, to move the work of this commission forward every month. Again, incrementally, it's not all going to be in one meeting or 1 year. It's going to take some time to get this off the ground, and this is what we're doing.
Chief, so it's kind of, I mean, in my experience with this is usually, you're kind of in charge of decorum too, right? And pace. So I don't think the ordinance also says that the mayor can appoint an executive director. So I would think that that would be a person that would be more qualification based, because you'd have someone who is kind of almost a spokesperson, if you look, you know what I mean, for the organization, and they would be kind of in charge of keeping everything moving smoothly. On the other hand of moving smoothly is, I guess, a chair who, like you, Chief, who's running the meeting, like, is there a motion? All those in favor, approval of the minutes? And then if we ever have public hearings and things, like keeping decorum, making sure, that everyone's treated equally, respectfully. I mean, kind of what we're working on for the mission statement, right? So I would think that you really need someone who, is able to cut people off when they need to, and call people if people aren't being treated fairly, and, I guess things like that, but always be kind of even keeled. And it's really, you're kind of gatekeeper, goalie sometimes, right? And just making sure everything runs smoothly. But I feel like too, at the other side, there is a lot of commitment as far as time and making sure that everything's organized and ready to go.
Thank you, Kathy.
Is that a good explanation? Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, no. That's all good explanation. All good.
I believe the right approach, that's just my humble opinion. What about if each one of us nominates someone and see who's gonna get the highest nominations? Because we're all busy and we can't take much responsibilities. Let's just push it and have the person that we can see them do that specific job. It's not an easy job. It's not, we know that. And let's just nominate the person that you can see the most fit for that position.
Okay, Rashid, go ahead.
You want to do it now? I can't do it right now. I have someone in my mind, but I can't do it right now.
Okay. Anybody else?
The only other thing I could add, just since we're kind of brainstorming, and this is a little different, but it's worked before in groups like this, is that you kind of rove that position for a couple meetings to give people a feel of it and potentially see who might be a good candidate if we don't come up with something. Sounds a little crazy, but if we approached it in earnest, it might work. So that's just another option to have out on the floor.
Okay, thank you.
I also like the co-chair a lot, so that there, some mutual responsibility, because all of us is busy. It's like, if you ask me right now, I can't. I can't assume any position. I'm in the chair position. So I think the co might be a good idea to explore that, and then to get support from one another as well. I like that a lot.
Okay, thank you.
So, and Karu, I love you. I here's my reservations with co-chair is it sounds great, but then sometimes it doesn't work. And then, someone could get resentful of one person doing the work over the other. I mean, and I'm gonna say her name wrong, Chimay, I believe, was the one talking about, like, she wanted to be a position that wasn't on there. You could always say like, okay, you know, we're gonna elect so-and-so to do it this year, and then whoever is the person, you know, maybe you choose, like, maybe you kind of have a succession plan, like this person will do it the next year. So if that person can't be there, someone else could chair. Or if the chair can't do it, they can ask someone else to run the meeting for them. I think it just gets confusing if you're answering to two different people, or if there's a conflict, you just need someone to kind of run the meeting. And I hope I'm not offending you by saying that. And I'm always open to change my mind, and I usually do when I hear other people's thoughts on things.
I
it
think
will be, sorry.
I think my intention is to make sure that folk who want to do it and not sure have the opportunity to get support for doing that. Either I like to have a chair and also chair-elect as well. And co-chair is also open. And then also mentorship too, like somebody who take on that, and then somebody who's been doing that can mentor that person, so that where you give opportunity for a new person who can gain that skill. So I'm open to all of that.
And I'm just thinking out loud too, like we just voted for a subcommittee, right, for the mission statement. So whoever goes on that, I mean, within that subcommittee, you could have chairs of the subcommittee, right? So those subcommittee people could vote to kind of run that and be the spokesperson when they present to the committee of a whole. So there'll be a lot of, I like, so that's kind of what you're saying a little bit, Karu, too, is to have, so by creating subcommittees to kind of study things, you could empower some people to kind of work more specifically on subject matter, so then more people would get the experience. Could it work that way, Karu? Is that maybe something like that?
Okay.
Can we have a
Any other
chairman and the vice chairman? Is that what we?
We have a temporary chair, and that's it. That's all we have currently.
Chairperson, not chairman.
Chairperson, that's
Oh,
right. We need
chairperson, I apologize.
we need another chairperson.
I apologize.
So there's two positions
So,
mentioned in the charter. There's the chair, and then there's the secretary treasurer. So you would need someone to volunteer for that too. So if one person was called away from an emergency, you could always have that person chair too, right, in their absence? So there's two
It
things.
could be whatever, really, it could be whatever we desire, is what it could be.
Because I like the idea and the reminder of what Kathy said, and kind of responding to Karu, it's the reminder, we need someone who's in charge. There's got to be one person who's always kind of steering us forward, but having a vice and having secretary gives more people a chance to lead, and allows us all good experience through it, but it keeps a decorum throughout, which would be important for us. But it'd be important to have that. Vice chair allows that. So you'd have someone, when the chair is not there, can do it, and it gives them experience, and the secretary would also as well. So I do like that. And I like to do the subcommittee too. That's a great idea to give more opportunity for others to lead in that subcommittee too.
Thank you, Tim. Well, I don't know if we're going to come to a resolution on this today. And I see that we're over the hour mark for the meeting. Trying to be mindful of everybody's time. I don't know, maybe we could close out the meeting again. Are we going back? Is there anyone who might be interested in the chair? And if not, I guess think about it. And maybe if there's no one nominated here today, or no one who's willing to step up, then we can kick it over to the next meeting and take it up there.
Could I say one thing? I know you want to finish. In full transparency, I probably do have the time, and I have organizational skills. I've been a manager and coordinator in many ways. So I wouldn't be opposed to stepping up. However, I really do not feel well trained in running a meeting in terms of the formalities of running a city meeting. So I would definitely need to be, if nobody else wanted to step forward and I was to try this, I would need training from someone that could just give give me some structure around that. So I'm not saying it has to be me, but I want to be completely open about my situation.
Well, to answer your question, Janine, and for all the commissioners, I do believe Ashley Melnick would be able to help us with some training. And you talk about the rules of order for a meeting, right? The Robert's Rules of Order. You know, again, these meetings, they're not very confrontational, so there's really, you know, as far as hardcore, you know, applying the rules, right now, that's really not that much of a concern, I don't think, for this group. We're trying to be inclusive, let everyone speak. I think if someone did not feel like they're up to speed on the rules, a little time with Ashley. I mean, I know, you know, I know some basic stuff through my experience, and I'm sure some of you may also be able to add to that, Dr. Garcia. You know, I'm sure they could get some assistance. Again, although on the temporary chair, if someone takes the chair, I'm not just stepping out of this. I'd be more than willing to carry some weight and to help out, and that's why I'm here.
So, Chris, first of all, thank you for that. I think that Janine, she's mute, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think, to be honest with you, I don't know if this is the right meeting for us to decide. We can certainly think about it, but I think you should step up and probably with the right mentoring on the part of Chris. He's a man with lots of experience in this area. You can see the way he's running the meeting, and with the support of others, you know, you can shadow him. You can be there. He'll be there supporting you. I think you'll be a great person, you know, to do this. So unless others are, but I'm just, you know, since you have expressed, you know, interest technically, and it sounds that you have experience, I think it would be a great opportunity to have you step up and then have others. We are going to be here supporting you one way or the other, and Chris, special Chris also. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to have, you know, women in leadership.
I agree.
So can we nominate?
I got the same feedback here, Janine. Just remember that we all got your back. This is newly established organization. We will all support you. At the same time, I've seen like Commissioner Shai Husseini expresses some interest in being like a vice chairperson or some kind of role in there. If you are going through certain training, it will be nice to have her shadow you. So, and we all got your back. So, and thank you for stepping up. I wish I could do it.
If we do go in the direction of a co-chair, I'll be happy to step up as a co-chair. Just like Janine, the only kind of, I've never run anything from a citywide level. The only actual leadership I have is either being a part of the Revere Democratic City Committee as a ward chair, or like president of my club at my university. But like, I feel like with some training, not only would it help me with the role that I want to step up to, but I feel like it will help me in other ways, of course. So like, I'm up for shadowing no matter what position I get. If I get no position, I'll be honored to be shadowing someone who's working for the city.
So I'm wondering, Shemaya, since you stated your interest,
you could just call me Shay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm wondering we can have a chair elect.
So can I ask a question?
I'm sorry.
Karu was asking if they could have a chair elect like we discussed for like maybe the next year. Right, Karu? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Right. And at the same time, the chair elects can also work with the chair as part of, you know, the training.
What if, right? Because there's two positions that's on the ordinance, right? You could say, okay, here's the chair, and then the other one is basically secretary. And then, so you could elect those two people with the maybe assumption that the secretary becomes the chair the next year? So that you're not creating a bunch more things? I mean, I don't know, what do you think? I mean, I'm up for whatever. I'm just thinking because we do have to fill two positions that are according to the ordinance. And chair is most important. We can do the other one later, but I'm just something to thought. I mean, if everyone is okay with I mean, we could nominate Janine today if no one else has any other interest, we could think about it, but, or we could do both. We could try to do both, right? If Che or, if, you know, whatever. I'm stopping now.
Thank you, Kathy. No, we appreciate it. Again, this is the hard work here, and this is what we need to do, go back and forth and be patient and, try to come up with the best solution. So, again, if someone has a motion they'd like to make, we kind of set the stage here. Now's the time.
I just had one question. So aren't these appointments for 1 year only, though?
Yes.
So would we be able to appoint for next year's commission?
I think it says 1
Maybe I
year.
misunderstood.
I think it says 1 year, but no more than 3 years. And that means that you have a latitude there. If the person really does a good job, there is a consensus among group members that the person should serve another year or two. I mean, it's up to us, but certainly no more than 3 years.
So that you,
And I'm not, I'm not sure what the ordinance says, if it's a calendar year, fiscal year, or in other words, if we elect someone, that position it'd be good for 1 year from when you're elected.
And I also, when we read the ordinance, I know it was mentioned about a secretary treasurer, but I did not see that when Ruben screen shared. I only saw a chairperson, and then otherwise based on what the commission decided, may elect additional officers as it deems necessary, the second sentence on C1. So, but I am saying that I am more than happy to work with Shay in whatever way we decide. I think as long as communication is clear and boundaries are clear, I'm open to however that unfolds.
that's great. I just,
Yeah, I would love to have a young person kind of being part of this, you know, responsibility, and she is interested, and why not, you know?
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
it would be a nice way to empower young generation, you know, to do something like this. And, you know, I would not be opposed to it. And as far as if we elect the chair today, we vote and we got the chair today. And obviously, you know, as far for next year, we can deal with one problem at a time. The person gets the position wherever the chair is, and then as the year goes along, you know, people will reveal some leadership as we move along, and we'll be clear who's ready for it, and obviously comes to this body. The decision is up to this body to really elect the new chair or things that, you know, it's I would say once at a time, but the idea of shadowing someone like you know, the young lady, what's her name?
Shay.
Shay. I mean, I would not be opposed to it.
Okay. Okay, I think we kind of set the table. Again, does anyone want to make a motion?
I love making motions. You want me to make it?
Thank you, Kath. Yes.
I'm very shy. So, okay, so we have a motion to nominate Janine Grillomara as the chair of the Human Rights Commission. And so maybe that's one, and then we have to figure out I guess that's one, and then I don't know if we have a official title for.
We can take them up individually. Want to take that up individually? Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Jalon. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none?
Great.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Kathy.
Nope, she'll be great, and I want to say thank you, Chief Bright, for taking the reins the first few meetings.
Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Janine Grillomara is elected as chairperson for the Human Rights Commission. Thank you, Janine. Okay, that order of business is closed. Do we have any other motions we'd like to make before we leave? I don't know if I can even relinquish my chair. I mean, I would make a motion, and again, and that would be to nominate Shay Hosani for the vice chair, and ask Shay if she could help out maybe with the minutes and shadow with Janine, and we could try to get you any assistance or training that you ladies need to make this committee keep moving forward. So that's my motion.
I'm in support of that motion, or I can join you, Chief Bright. I think we should empower the young generation. She expressed interest, and we need to support them. I think she will be good, and she will. I'm sure that she will be good for that role.
Awesome. Yes.
Thank you, Rashid. There's a motion on the floor, seconded by Rashid, for Shay Hosani to become the vice chair. And then we can always take up, not to speak off the motion, but we can always take up other positions or secretary treasurer, going forward. So the motion on the floor, any other discussion?
I think Shay will do a great job, and I think Shay has more experience than you have you think you know already, and you're going to do great working with Janine, and we're all here to help you. So thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Congratulations.
Good. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed? It's official. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Janine. We have a chair and vice chair of the Revere Human Rights Commission.
Get a lot done today.
I know.
Yay.
I'd like to thank, all the commissioners really for their thoughtful input and patience. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
Seconded.
that motion.
Thank you. And it is seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? Thank you, commissioners. I want to wish everyone a happy Easter holiday, and please stay well and stay safe. And we will be back here for our next meeting on December 3rd, Thursday, 5 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Chief.
Bye.
Thank you.